Subscription fees are everywhere these days. You can barely buy a toaster without needing to download an app, sign up for an account, agree to a 20-page EULA, input your contact and your credit card information just to enjoy a lunchtime sandwich. If you're like me, you'd probably just rather run a nice bubble bath at this point and jump in there with old Toasty McPain in the ass. God.
Hey, welcome back to the Security Bros. I am Ken, and this is James. You good, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I just get so tired of everything requiring subscription fees all the time.
I hear that. I feel that. But you do realize that the company we run offers subscriptions, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I wanted to make this video.
That's why we want to make the video.
Well, sometimes they can be good, right? Like,
Totally.
everything requires subscriptions, but like sometimes it could be something like Netflix, right?
I like that.
Netflix is you pay a subscription, but you get on-demand entertainment on the go or at home. Or then you get subscriptions that are kind of dumb, like Rocket Money, which is, as far as I understand, a subscription service to cancel subscription services.
Yeah, maybe it's a good, I haven't really looked into that one. But how do you define between the ones that you like and the ones that are really just like a trash can for money?
It's a little bit subjective. I don't think there's like a perfect metric that says this is good, this is trash.
I like
right?
Perfect metric.
So something that might be of value to me might be a waste of money to you. In our world, which is security systems, everything requires a subscription in the security world now.
Cool. Well, first, let me take a little sip. It was actually a little bit hot.
Beep. So let's start with a little history of where subscriptions came from in the security world. If you go all the way back in the day, your security system was basically the bell in the town square. Yeah, maybe the guy who rang the bell got paid, but that's not really a subscription fee. With the invention of phone lines, much farther down the road, came alarm monitoring. And for many years, this was the primary source of subscription fees. And most security companies, that was kind of their recurring revenue bread and butter, is the alarm monitoring. And
it's pretty much the only thing.
Yeah, it was like the
only monthly
main
thing.
Right. And then came access control systems, and those were all local, or access control, security systems, and intercoms. So those were all local to the building itself. It wasn't really connected to the internet. So you didn't have to worry about subscriptions for those. But with advancements in technology and the internet becoming a thing and everything being connected to the cloud, those systems eventually became connected, and that's where we are now. So you are here.
Right. And something I just thought of while you were mentioning this is it's almost like a subscription begets another subscription, meaning you want to monitor because there's phone lines, you were able to monitor your alarm system via the phone line. So the phone line allowed you to have a subscription for the alarm system.
Yep.
So one subscription, the phone line, because that's you pay monthly for your phone line, led to the subscription for the alarm system. Access control and like video systems, surveillance systems, they don't work on a phone line. They actually need data, so they would need internet. So by paying your monthly internet subscription, it allowed you to also pay for additional subscriptions like the cloud, access control, cloud, CCTV, which our company offers.
So subscriptions allow your security company to provide you a number of things, right? Like a nice cloud-based experience, a nice app that's always being updated, your like access control panels, your camera system, all those things can have the firmware remotely updated. The other benefit would be notifications, right? So paying for the subscription allows you to have access to that platform, which, gives you notifications if, say, a camera goes offline or, say, motion is detected or something like this, right? So by using the platform of whatever system you're working with and paying for that platform, it kind of gives you a lot of really cool features.
It also gives security companies a chance to up their game, if you will, to be able to offer like broader amount of services.
Yeah.
So the scope, I guess, of their services can increase for clients, which is cool. So like one of the things that like our company will do is, since now we can get all of those notifications, We take a lot of that on ourselves, just on behalf of the customer, and then we'll look into stuff and then contact the customer with something more, let's call it actionable, as opposed to just pummeling the client with lots of notifications that they then have to like look into and see if this matters. We'll see if it matters and then let the client know. Like, yeah, that camera does need to be cleaned, or yes, that camera does need to be replaced or looked at or something like that.
The client can know as well if they so choose.
Well, that's what's cool about it. The client can, but it enables.
It's not like we take it and say you have to pay for it and we'll give you this information. It's a added feature that we provide. Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want to sort through that.
Right.
Now, it may seem like obvious that there would be some company that would sort through it for you. But the thing is that it wasn't that long ago that all of this information wasn't available to anyone, not to the client, not to the security company.
Right.
At best, maybe it was kept in the local system that really nobody looked at. But now that it can be accessible remotely, it leaves room for some company to look at that stuff. That's something that we do. And the cool thing about that is, as these things get better and they automate certain things, like the firmware upgrades, I think you mentioned that, like one of our systems, the firmware upgrades, we used to manually go do that for clients. Every time a firmware upgrade came out, we'd go to everybody's location and upgrade that for the client. So they don't have to. It just happens in the background. To them, it feels like it's automatic. Right. To us, it was actually manual, but now it actually is automatic from the manufacturer. Those get pushed, which saves us a little bit of time that we can then put into providing other kinds of support or focus on other things. You know, maybe it's not something for everybody, but I think that even though the subscription fees for the security industry have increased, the usefulness of it, the utility of it has increased just as much, if not a lot more, than the price tag. One reason being is that it has significantly decreased what you need in terms of on-site service,
right?
Which is usually like right now. Oh, you were going to get into that?
Well, that was just going to be my next point, is that it can allow you to do a lot of the troubleshooting remotely instead of actually sending a technician, which in the long run can actually save the customer a lot of money. Yeah, you may be paying for that subscription, but it's hundreds of dollars an hour if you're actually sending a technician out. So you might be saving a lot of money over the course of the life of the system.
Well, even for us, it means that we don't need as many technicians as we would have needed.
That's true too.
for the size of our customer base and the amount of work that we do. Normally, if you were to go back 5-10 years, we would have needed a lot more technicians to do what we do. But because of this, it actually enables us to not need those technicians, which tells you how much we're not charging customers then. Because if we had those technicians full time, I have a general idea of what that ends up costing clients. It's like, in order to have them, the amount that this is what clients would be paying for. And if you compare that to what we're charging for the subscription fees, clients are actually saving a ton of money. I can just tell that from looking at the numbers. So it's useful all the way around, and it kind of works out since so many fewer people want to go into the blue collar industry. So there's not as many technicians to be found. So the two actually, it all kind of works out. Yeah. But yeah, and because there's so many fewer people that want to get into the industry, and because of all the inflation and how everybody needs to make so much more money, all those costs normally get pushed to the client. I don't think a lot of people realize that without these systems, you'd have to have more technicians and to do all these little things, and all those costs get pushed to the client. Like, do they really want to spend $180 an hour to have a technician come out and do something, or would they rather just pay $50 a month? Right? Like, it's literally that big of a difference. Like, you like $50 a month to do a bunch of stuff, or $180 an hour, or whatever companies are charging now for their technicians, sometimes more. It's crazy. Like, the amount of money saved.
Well, and the thing of it too is, depending on the problem with the system, if you're handling it remotely, sometimes it's a task that you have to set the system and it has to like run some process. If you're doing it remotely, you can set it, flip tabs to a different tab in your web browser or whatever you're doing, and work on something else. But if you've had to send a technician out to your site, then while that same process is running, you have to pay the technician for that entire time, right? So it's just one of those other things that saves you money. There is some downside, I guess you could say, depending on the company you're working with, right? So everyone kind of does things a little differently, but some security companies are a little bit like, oh, what was it? Gollum? Who's the guy in Lord of the Rings? Gollum, who liked his ring?
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yes.
My precious.
My precious. So some security companies are like Gollum with the ring, and the customer is the ring, right? So they don't want you to get away, basically. So they'll try to lock you into some weird contract or make you sign up for X amount of years. They're trying to do the whole provider dependency thing where you're stuck with them. You can't go to anyone else. It's kind of like an abusive relationship.
Do you have one caveat?
Yeah, tell me.
Some clients will specifically want a service contract of sorts, and they'll ask to be locked in. It's a bit like asking when you go to rent an apartment and you want that 2 or 3 year lease because you say, I like that price and I want to lock that price in and I want to know it's available to me and I don't want to have to do a lease renewal and all that. I just want to have this apartment for a certain period of time. And some clients, I think especially larger clients that maybe have a lot of locations and they want to know that you will be available to them. Because if you don't have the contract, in theory, you could say like, oh, I'm sorry, we're kind of busy right now, no time. And they're like, no, you better have time. So they'll say like, we're willing to get involved in a service contract. And sometimes they might even include special perks for you, like a special response time, like we'll be there within 8 hours or something. Like they won't make you wait 2 days. They'll be there either that day or the next day. So I would say that would be the one caveat.
Yes.
For the most part, though, for the average person, especially if you're residential and you just want like an alarm monitoring account or something like that, yeah, they'll try to lock you in for those like 3 years or something. Maybe they'll try to get in like with a low price, but lock you in for all those years.
The security companies that come in and they're like, hey, we got this sweet, manager's price for you. But you have to sign today and it's got to be for 2 years. That's the kind of guys I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But even the ones that do sign, that like customers, they may ask for a contract. I mean, even those, they can still take the customer for granted because they say, oh, we've got this 3 or 5 year thing. And so maybe they just don't care as much. They're not as concerned about really staying on the ball, just like being there for the client. So I'm not actually a huge fan of the service contract as being locked into anything. In general, I think it's better off if either party can always walk away if they feel like that relationship has gone sour.
Yeah.
I think as a security company, I know like with our company right now, we don't do the contracts. And so it's like we have the subscriptions, but once again, those can be canceled at any time.
Right.
And the thing is that by either party. So if we feel like, this client is kind of a jerk, honestly, they treat the employees really badly, they don't respect us, it's like, you know what? Maybe there's somebody that's like a better fit for you guys. I like a business that runs nice and smooth and where there's like respect and we actually like each other.
And on the flip side of that too is that it allows us to leave if the customer's being bad, but if there's no contract for us, we have to constantly,
that is the flip
put
side.
Our best foot forward so the customer wants to stay with us.
That's
so
what
it
I'm
builds
building.
Accountability. Right. Yeah, I'm great with that.
I like that.
I'm good with that.
It actually incentivizes me and you and the team to always be the best version of ourselves and always be finding ways that we can improve. And first of all, we have already like a pipeline of like all kinds of improvements we're looking to do as we get enough clients that brings in enough revenue so we can expand the team so that we can offer different, like we have a whole thing. It's like, okay, exactly how do we make that all happen? So I'm very into all the improvements. A lot of people are not, so maybe it wouldn't work as well for them.
I don't know how common this is. It's becoming a little more common, but it's the like rent your security system setup. So instead of buying a security system, you can basically pay a higher monthly subscription fee and security companies will give you the equipment. And then if you stop paying your fee, they take all the equipment back. I kind of look at it as a downside because you don't own your equipment. But in theory, I guess you would always have the most modern equipment. They have security systems that don't require subscriptions. So why would you bother signing up for one that requires a subscription to operate?
But one of the benefits that goes along with the systems with the subscriptions is that they usually include software that is very different from the non-subscription software. So when you get the software that just comes with the system, or systems where you pay like $900 and you just get the software outright, the problem with those is that the quality of the software, I think, is lower. Or at least the quality of the user interface is lower.
Yeah.
I think they use a different kind of a team, an old-fashioned team, sort of like that 1990s software that you'll get. That's kind of what you're getting.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get the cloud-based stuff that runs via browser, those teams clearly have the user interface designers that actually think from the client's point of view, from our point of view of like what is intuitive and how should the flow go, as opposed to that older software that is not subscription based. So they don't have these people on the team. It's just like they just need it to be functional, but it's not enjoyable to work with.
The ability to access your system from anywhere in the world at any point in time, to, add or remove users to your access system, to see your video footage from anywhere that you are. If it's an intercom, let people in your building, and the ability for your security company to be able to get in there and troubleshoot something that's going on, right? Like in our case, sometimes maybe something will be frozen up and we can remotely reboot the panel and then all the problems are fixed, right? So having all of these conveniences, to me, are worth it. And in our experience with our customers, they've found it to be worth it too.
Dude, I think it's worth it. And I think that if you found this video worth it, then you should like it so we know. Yeah, and you should also share it so your friends know. Don't forget to smash the like button. I forgot about this one.
You said smash the like button. I thought you were going to say subscribe. So I was waiting for you to say subscribe.
Redoing it.
So in my opinion, yes, it is worth it.
And if you found this video worth it, I hope you go ahead and smash the like button. And since we were discussing subscriptions, subscribe and let your friends know. Share it so your friends know. Hang on a second. And if you found this video worth it, I hope you go ahead and like it so we know, and share it so your friends know. And also, since we're discussing the subscriptions, subscribe so that
you can see more videos. Bye.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
I get tired of everything requiring a subscription.
So,
I know you do too.
Where's the line between a subscription actually making sense for the person making the purchase, like with Netflix, and it just being a waste of money, like Rocket Muncher?